Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to take a look at a type of antenna that's very popular, but I've never tried one before, so I thought I should. The antenna is made by Wolf River Coils. Now, okay, it's an interesting name because it sounds like the thing that they are emphasizing is their coils, right? But they make antennas, or you can just get the coil. It's a loading coil, variable inductor, okay? It's built around a piece of plastic like this. A groove has been cut in the plastic so that the windings of the coil will stay in place. And it has a slider on it that makes good contact with the coils. Now, what we're going to do first is the unboxing, and then we're going to go out back and do a little bit of testing. Not a huge comprehensive test because there's no way we can get really far away. I have my test coax connected to the ARRL 40 through 10 end-fed dipole. I want to do some more tests on that before I take it down. And then when I take it down, I'll have the 50-foot coax I can put with this one, and we can really test how it works. Now, just by looking at it, here's the bottom line. It's a loaded whip. That means that it will radiate about as well as any vertical, but it will lose bandwidth because of the loading. The Q of the antenna goes up. And when the Q goes up, that means the bandwidth comes down. That's the compromise for an antenna. So before we jump into the unboxing, I'd like to pay a special thank you to Scott Heddle, who is one of my most recent patrons of this channel. You too can become a patron of this channel and help us grow by going to patreon.com/KE0OG. Now, just a little bit of an update on the hack we had here. I think I have all of the videos that are supposed to be public now public. There's something like 1,470 of them. So they should all be there, and you can search the channel and find any particular one you want. As I was going through them and getting them straightened out, a lot of them had been set private by the hack. I had to open them up again. I'm going, good grief, I've been doing this for a long time. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that if you'd like to get in touch with me, please use email. Go to askdave@arrl.org, as it shows right down below the bottom of the screen. askdave@arrl.org. And that'll come through to me. You can put attachments on it, pictures, drawings, whatever you might want to add, so that I can better understand it. Now note that anything that comes to that email, I may answer in one of three ways. Just a quick answer, a line or two, back to you. Maybe I might use it in a future Ask Dave column. And if you send photographs, please send permission to use them in QST. Also, the much more likely way that I'll answer them is with a video like this. So, and the reason I got this antenna is because you guys out there have been pressing me on Wolf River Coils for their antennas. They make great coils, and as far as the antenna goes, they should work fine in a portable environment. This is called the TIA for Take It Along. Not TMI, but TIA. I guess that'd be like Tampa International Airport, but anyway, we'll see. Let's jump in. Let's look at this right here. This is from Wolf River Coils, and it is something I ordered from them, and we're going to see what exactly it is. Okay, so this is a Making a weird knife. Tip is bent, but it should get us through there. Yep. Packaged in, partially at least, in bubble wrap. Okay, this is the receipt. Wolf River Coils. Okay. And it was $150. So there's $17 shipping and handling. They shipped it priority. It was 4 pounds. And shipping insurance, nothing. Sales tax, nothing. Actually, everything that ships priority has built-in insurance. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Everything is in this bag. And we're going to have to cut the bag. Oh, this is pretty stiff plastic. It's heat sealed. We're just going to open it the long way. Okay, here is a bunch of wire. 3, I think these are radials. This is the coil itself. Now, the coil comes up here, goes down here. This is the mount. Okay. This right here, that 3/8 mount right there, is a classic extendable whip antenna that extends out quite a ways. Let me just put this back together. All right, 3 radials, and this is the tripod stand. Okay, so I think the way it's going to go is this is going to be the mount, or maybe it'll be the other way. We'll see. Now the this thing right here goes up and down on the coil, be the mount. So right now this part of the coil is shorted. Now if we look closely at this, what we're going to see is wire. The form for the coil has been grooved so that these wires stay in place. Otherwise, if you just wrapped bare wire around a form, it would short out on you. Okay, we have instructions. By the way, these are the 3 things that they're pretty small. They create a little tripod to put the thing up. I think that would work as long as there's no wind. Or another thing you can do is take little partially filled sandbags that you get down at Home Depot, and you can lay those on top of the ends of these and make it pretty strong that way. Okay, we have the Silver Bullet TIA. TIA is Wolf River Coil speak for Take It Along. Small portable antenna system designed to work on the 10 to 80 meter amateur radio bands. Now, what they are is a constant height whip, and then this Wolf River Coils talks about being coil makers, but what this is for, it's a loading coil. It's an adjustable loading coil. A short antenna is very capacitive. So if you add inductance by means of this coil, this variable coil here, you will be able to bring the thing to a resonant point. Let's see, designed to work in 10 to 80 meters. Kit is compact, that's for sure. Easily fits in your carry-on baggage. I note that there is no bag for it. You have to see if we can't come up with a bag for it somewhere. System contains one antenna, 33 feet ground radials, one telescoping whip, and one tripod mount. Assemble the legs of your tripod to the round centerpiece. Check that the PL259 mount is tight. Add your coax, add the ground radials. Where do the ground radials hook on this thing? I'm not sure. We'll see, they've got pictures on the other side. As with any vertical antenna, the more radials the better, but the antenna will function with as little as a single radial. Last, add the Silver Bullet 1000 coil and the telescoping whip. You're ready to go. Tuning the SB1000 coil to the band you want to use will be different for every user. This is true, because everything affects everything, meaning that the environment you put this up in is going to affect it, due to the amount of radials, length of radials, soil, coax, blah, blah. Good start is to fully extend the whip, move the collar so the top of the collar is even with the first coil wire wrap. Using the radio's SWR meter, or if you have an antenna analyzer, this should be close to 20 meters. Move the collar up or down to change frequency, and twist the collar for fine-tuning. Please visit our website and look for Silver Bullet video. To operate 10 meters, you will need to collapse the whip to about 80 inches. 6-meter operation is possible by collapsing the whip to about 40 inches. Some final suggestion: radials are important. It helps SWR as well as impedance. It helps tuning and makes the antenna more broad-banded. Try longer and add more radials to use what works for you. If possible, connect the radials to a good counterpoise, such as a metal railing. Even metal lawn tables or metal legs on picnic tables have been used as a good ground system. You can reduce the whip length to change frequency. Keep the antenna at least 8 feet away from you when tuning. Being too close can affect the SWR, and that's true because you become part of the antenna's environment. Coax tuning can also make tuning on one band difficult. Lengthening the coax as little as 5 feet or more sometimes helps. Well, my test coax is 50 feet long. Have fun and send us pictures of how you use your antenna system. So what we've got here, we've got the different parts. Attach the 3 legs. Okay. Attach your coil. Coax to the connector. Attach the Silver Bullet to the coupling bolt. Okay, and it shows the wire coming off the bottom. So this end here goes into this. Screw the collapsible whip on top. Extend the whip. Attach your ground radials. Attach them to what? I guess they can go around right there. Okay, slide the tuning coupler up and down for max noise in your radio or lowest SWR in your tuner. Even with one radio, you should achieve 1.5 or lower SWR in all the bands. For 12, 10, and 6 meters, you will need to collapse the whip to get an acceptable SWR. Okay. So let's see what we've got here. These have got, these are pre-threaded. This particular piece right here took quite a bit of doing to make. It has the threads. If you want, you can tighten this up against it, this nut, so that it stays tight. But I'm tempted to kind of put a radial there and then screw this in. Okay, and then this goes into here. I've got to tell you, I am wondering if this actually does a little better attaching right there. You can also attach your 3 radials right there, because they've got real big connection pieces on them, and these will go through them. Okay, so you could attach them there if you want to. No, that's not true. That's not true. See the insulator right there? This is ground. This is hot. Okay, so don't put the radials there. Put them over here. Okay, and then this long whip screws in here. Okay, now, so we've got the pieces here. There are 3 separate radials here. One thing about this, be careful with it, so don't just pull them out like that, but carefully unwind them like this so that they won't get all kinked and stuff like that. All right? So it says to put the thing for 20 meters up about here, up toward the top, for 20 meters. Then for everything below that, you're going to go down to the point where on 80 meters, you're going to be using, this is the active part of the coil. Down to here. Now, after a while, you will learn where to put it. Okay, and it says by going like this, you can adjust it, fine tune it. Okay, so here's what we've got. All right, so that's what's in the box. Okay, so the next step that we've got it out of the box, what we're going to do is put the thing together, and then we're going to test the SWR to see if the thing really will work on multiple bands. Now, this thing is designed as a portable antenna. It's what Wolf River Coils calls it a TIA, for Take It Along. And it's designed specifically to be a mobile antenna. Naturally, everything from Wolf River Coils is built around a coil, and here's the main coil. And then we've got to yeah. I've got a pair of scissors here. These are the 3 radials that come with the antenna. We'll take that apart. We'll separate them into the 3 radials. And the reason that I'm going to do this is because we need to spread each one individually. Now, these things have got these little wire things there, which are a pain to get off, but there they are. Now, what are we tempted to do? Of course, we want to just throw it out. But we're not going to do that. Now let me show you where the radials attach on this thing. There are little legs here that go in here like this and create a tiny little tripod. We put the end through here and screw it on like this. Now, if you're doing this in the field, you want to get this fairly tight. But since you're going to have to take it apart, now we're going to put this here where we're going to do our testing. And we're going to unroll, see how we unroll the guy wire. That way it does not get tangled. Pretty long piece of wire. Okay, we'll just throw that down there to make a radial. Again, this is designed to be a portable antenna. Now you can get these with bigger feet. Okay, come on, what's going on here? Oh, a little burr in there. Well, we'll get it in anyway. This is one of the drawbacks of long radials on these portable antennas. One reason that I like the buddy pole is that it's actually a dipole, so it can run. You know, if I were to make a suggestion at this point, I think a lesson learned is the first time you put this thing up, go ahead and connect the radials before you try untangling them. Because once they lose that coil, they're a pain. The antenna, now I know the chameleon antennas come with little devices that you can roll the antennas up onto. But this antenna does not. I may have to create something when I go to put it away, because you've got to keep these radials in some semblance of order. Otherwise it becomes trying to take apart fishing line. Now the antenna element consists of this. And the way it can fit in that nice little box is to be pulled out like this. I urge you to be extra careful with this. If it bends anywhere along here for any reason, that's it for the antenna, okay? And you'll have to buy another one of these whips. Be careful with them. Then we're going to screw that into the top. I think maybe it'd be better if I pulled it all the way down. Okay. There. Now I'm going to pull this up. Okay, there we go. Now the way the antenna works is this is the loading coil. The antenna is too short, which makes it capacitive. So if you add inductance, you can get the thing to tune in. Now they say the way you add inductance is by this little sliding arm right here. Now it says to start about here for 20 meters. So let's attach some coax. I've got some LMR 240 here. They say to stand 10 feet away when you do your testing. This goes on down here. Okay, we'll put it back down. Now, in actual use, if you're out in a park or something like that, I would highly recommend that you put some sandbags or something on that. The coil itself is strong enough to withstand some wind, but again, it is portable. Hey, so let's, just while we're here, let's go down to 14. Okay, now it's got a low point down there. Well, I don't see any kind of a low point anywhere near. That's 15 meters. Now let's push this down. The first thing that we have to do is find out where it's resonant. That's 10. Let's go down below 10. Whoa. Okay. That's a resonant on 60 meters. We want the frequency to go up, so we're going to add less loading. Again, we're just doing a rough initial tuning. That's on 10 meters. I'm sorry, 30 meters. Okay, we wanted 40. So we'll look for something in between. Okay, we're very close. A little high in frequency. So we need to add a little loading. Let's go 2 clicks. Oh, look at that. The top of 40 meters is 1-to-1. Let's go down 1 more click. Okay, this does not cover all of 40 meters, but if you tune it a little bit, it will. Now see if we go up here to the single sideband region, we're okay. Down now we get into the area of FT8 and it's still 2-to-1, but look at that, real nice 1-to-1 on 40 meters, okay? Now that was 40. Can we find 20? See what that does. This is a problem with an antenna like this. You're going to want to work one band. Now, getting a lot of capacitance effect because we're too close to the antenna and we don't have a ground. Just out of curiosity, what happens if we go way down? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we've got 1.1-to-1 at 3.63. That's 80 meters. Now let's go up 1 notch. One notch, we go to 3.695. Okay, I'll go up 2 notches. To 373. Okay, so what we've learned here is that the bandwidth on 80 meters is narrow, but you can tune any part of the band that you want. Now, note the limitations here. This antenna will work 80. We've got just 3 radials, and we are standing too close to it. We're right next to an old aluminum bird bath. And we discovered that by moving the clicks up and down, we can change the point of resonance. Okay, so we've done 80 and 40. Now I'd like to do 20. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shorten this antenna a bit down to here, and we'll come up somewhere around here and see where we are. Let's Let's go the other way because I'm not seeing anything. There we go. We got a little something at 26 megahertz. Okay, so we got to add more loading. That's a lot. Okay, was obviously too much. Now there's another antenna that's similar to this, but it has a little gauge on it. There we go. Whoops. Not so much. It's 30 meters. I want 20. So to bring the frequency down, you would think you would add loading. But what I'm going to do because this is what it says to do in the instruction book. Put it all the way up there for 20. Well, it's going down. That's 21. We're in 15 meters. Okay. Well, I think we've done enough. I'm not going to be able to come out and explore every amateur band here. My conclusion is that yes, you can tune it on different bands, but this is the kind of thing that once you tune it, like if you're doing summits on the air or parks on the air, I would recommend that you tune it on one band and leave it there, because changing bands can be a problem. Now, once you've had this thing for a while longer, you'll get used to where things should be. Now, they do warn you in the manual not to mark the spots where everything is perfect, because as the environment changes, the amount of loading required to make that whip resonant it changes. It changes. Okay? I have no issues with build quality. It builds very nicely. The instruction books simply say to attach the radials. They don't tell you how, so I've shown you how. You don't want to connect it above this point here, because this is where the center of the coaxial cable connects to here, and then there's an insulating washer there, and then this is grounded here. Okay, so that's what these bolts are for, is to tighten that down, and I would go ahead and tighten them down. Now, you put the pole all the way up with very little loading for 20 meters, according to the instructions. I'm going to just go down a little bit and try it one more time here, because we're still in the 15 meter band. Not supposed to be able to do. You're supposed to shorten the antenna for 15 and above. Shorten the whip. Okay, we'll go this way. And I think we've gone too far. Okay, I'm not getting anything. Now, a little bit better test setup, of course, we wouldn't have this. we'd put it on a bigger piece of coax, a longer piece of coax, and get a little further away. But if you're going to operate portably, for example, with this just outside your tent, I would think that, yeah, you'd try and get it a ways away, maybe a 20 to 30 foot piece of coax coming to your QRP gear. We have shown that on 40 megahertz you can get down to 1-to-1, and on 40 meters, not 40 megahertz, 40 meters you can get down to 1-to-1. And on 80 meters, we showed we could tune it there too. We also showed some tuning up in the 15 meter band, although the instructions say to somewhat shorten that in order to get that. So, does it work? Yeah, I mean, it's going to work. It's a variable load type thing with the whip. Now, the big question comes in how effective is a whip antenna with a loading coil at the base? The answer is it is effective. At its resonant frequency, it will work just as well as a full-size vertical within limits. But what you pay, as we saw, was bandwidth. A normal dipole will cover all of 40 meters. This does not. You'd cover sort of half of 40 meters at a time or a little bit more. So depending on whether you want to do digital or sideband, you'll have to retune it. And you'll have to remember. Now I want to make note that this is a coil. So if you can go a snap down, you're on the next rung of the coil. But if you turn this like this, you are getting increments of a turn, and you can get the thing exactly where you want it. Now, another thing I want to mention with this is that when you tune it, go back out away from the antenna. We weren't far enough here today, but go back out away from the antenna, then check the SWR. And then decide what you want to do to bring that antenna into tune. So this kind of antenna is not very big. And if you only want to operate one band, you could probably put this on your back deck, even in a homeowner association where they have a bunch of covenants against antennas. It is not very visible. You can't really see anything here. And for higher bands, you'll want to shorten the whip anyway. Now, when you're not using it, I would go ahead and lower the whip, because now that would take a lot of wind to blow it over. In fact, so we can do a little more testing with it later. I'm not going to roll up the radials. I'm going to take this off, and we'll leave it like that. Now, that should be weatherproof, okay? So, wow, so there you have it. Does Wolf River Coils make good coils? I'll tell you, they're sturdy. They're really sturdy. They should last a very long time. Every so often, you might want to wipe the thing down with some contact cleaner, like the D5 by Deoxit. I'm talking about every couple years. Just wipe it down so that any crud that's built up on the outside will be washed off. You don't need to worry about what is behind here, because it'll be fine. So, again, if you'd like to get in touch with me, please ask Dave at arrl.org. Also, if you would like to help support this channel financially, please go to dcastler.com/support and look for a way that works for you. Right now, I'm really pushing Patreon, because they have a lot of support for the patrons, and you can send me private messages and so on via Patreon. And I'll be honest, if you're a patron, you are helping support the channel, and I will give a little bit of preference to the comments that come from the patrons. I guess I'd just be honest with you. So there you have it. Until we next meet, 73.